You know what? It's such a lovely day outside today. It's been so nice all weekend, but here I am inside recording a video. But that's for a good reason. That's because the playoff finals have now been confirmed after some dramatic and pretty entertaining semi-finals we've had to witness this year. We finally know the 6 teams who are going to be battling it out to try and get promotions into their respective divisions. Yeah, honestly, I love the playoffs. Every year I try to watch the playoffs, and this year has not disappointed at all. Honestly, lately, none of the teams who won the first leg made it through in the end. Which yeah, it does include Sunderland and that, okay, but apart from that, it's been a pretty fun playoffs to watch. And honestly, that Sheffield Wednesday Peterborough game was one of the best matches I've ever watched. It was unbelievable, honestly, but we'll get more into that in just a little bit. So I'll be starting with the League 2 game, and I'm working my way up to the Championship. Obviously, that's not the order in which the game's being played for some reason, because it is usually League 2 on the bank holiday weekend. Usually is League 2 on a Saturday, League 1 on Sunday, and the Premier League the Championship on the Monday. But doing it differently this year, which I don't know why, but hey ho, I'm not in charge of the EFL. So starting off in League 2 with Carlisle United up against Stockport County. Now, Carlisle's running form hasn't exactly been great. They've only actually won 3 of the last 13 games. So, yeah, since they pretty much were going to get a playoff spot, they've taken the eye of the ball quite a bit. However, they have only just lost 4 of those 13. So, it's been mostly draws. So, they haven't been completely out of it, but it hasn't exactly been great. Those semi-finals up against Bradford were 2 pretty tight games. The first leg, I wouldn't really say they were really at it, but in that second leg, honestly, they were much better and probably did deserve to win in at the end. And honestly, I think the home fans definitely got behind them, definitely helped out with the atmosphere. It looked like a brilliant atmosphere there in Brunton Park. Now, Carlisle are the third highest goal scorers in League 2 this season. They've actually outscored the 4 teams who actually mentioned above them, which includes Stockport in that. And they are also the joint 5th lowest in goals conceded as well, so they're pretty well organised at the back as well. But in terms of the league season as a whole, Carlisle's wins have been pretty tight. They've only actually won by 3 more goals 5 times this season. And obviously the key danger man, obviously Christian Dennis, 20 goals this season, absolutely unbelievable, as well as Moxon, 22 goals and assists. So they definitely do have some firepower up front for Carlisle. It's just trying to break down our Stockport defence, really. Speaking of Stockport, their running been much better than Carlisle's, only losing 2 of the last 15 matches and keeping 8 clean sheets. So they're even more defensively tighter than the Carlisle are. Again, like the Carlisle-Bradford ties, their games against Salford were 2 pretty tight games. It took them to penalties to get them through in the end. But, it doesn't really matter how it's done as long as it does get done. 4th highest goal scorers in the league as well, Stockport. And however, are the second lowest in goals conceded. Literally only Luton Orient have conceded fewer goals than Stockport have this season. So if you thought Carlisle's defensive record was pretty good, Stockport completely trumped them out of the park there. And again, Stockport's wins have been pretty tight. They've only beaten the team by 3 goals or more than 4 times this season. So yeah, Stockport, I'm expecting this one to be a pretty close game. Obviously the top goal scorer Cal Wern's out injured. It's not looking good for him. Paddy Mann has step in. He's got 10 goals this season, so he's pretty shabby as well. You also got Collar as well. He's had a bit of problems lately as well. Hasn't been able to play as much as what he wanted to. He might not be able to start on Sunday. With his 16 goals and assists, but honestly, apart from Wootton and Collar, Stockport haven't really missed them that much. Albeit they've been more well contested in the last couple of games, but they've still managed to get the job done. In terms of the head-to-head games this season, Stockport beat Carlisle back in October, and the 2 teams did have a 2-2 draw back in April. Historically, Stockport have actually had the better head-to-head record going back to the 1989-1990 season. Stockport have beaten Carlisle 11 times out in 21 meetings, Carlisle winning 7, and obviously the remaining 3 games being stalemates. Now, in terms of a prediction, albeit both teams are pretty well matched up defensively, I think this probably will be the most goal-heavy game out of the 3 playoff finals. Just all the firepower both teams have up front, I think this could be a pretty entertaining game to watch. And in terms of a winner, I'm going to back Stockport. They haven't let their form drop at all, and despite losing the automatic promotion the final day, they've still looked really well organised. And to be fair with Carlisle, albeit they've had a brilliant season, they've just haven't. It feels like they may have just taken the eye off the ball a little bit, and in front of the Wembley crowd, where albeit probably won't be as big of an attendance as the other two games, Stockport will, well, obviously both teams will be both heavily backed by their fans. I think Stockport might just edge this one. I'm going to go for a 3-2 away win there for Stockport. Now heading into League One, and for me the game which I'm looking forward to most next weekend, Barnsley up against Sheffield Wednesday. Now obviously being the elephant in the room, this is a South Yorkshire derby final, so it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere, I'm guessing. Barnsley's end of the season was pretty inconsistent, only getting 2 wins in the last 7. Barnsley kept clean sheets in both of those wins as well. However, before that, they were unbeaten in 12 and they kept 5 clean sheets in that time as well. So, yeah, it's kind of understandable that they've sort of coasted towards the end of the season, but obviously with the playoff players pretty much intact and they were nowhere near getting all that promotion, really. Pretty tight semi-finals up against Bolton. The first leg, Bolton probably did deserve to get a draw in the first leg, but in the second leg, Barnsley, they scored early on, defended well, and Bolton just didn't have a sniff, really, and obviously got the job done. Barnsley were the 4th highest goal scorers in League One last season, and they were the joint 5th lowest for goals conceded, so pretty solid overall, Barnsley. Now, unlike the League 2 games, Barnsley have a knack for scoring lots of goals, and on 16 different occasions this season where Barnsley have scored 3 goals or more in a game. And obviously, I've talked about Ollie Norwood and Devante Cole, 27 goals between them two this season, just obviously on fire, as well as Adam Phillips as well, having 17 goals and assists for him. So he's obviously very, he can create good opportunities, which is what you want to see this season. Now going on to Sheffield Wednesday, obviously that was a pretty massive bottle job in terms of automatic promotion. They were so far clear, but going winless in 6 games in March and April, where Plymouth and Ipswich both won pretty much all the games at that time, cost them dearly. However, since then, they actually won 6 of the last 8, so they actually won when it was out of when the top 2 was out of the reach, which is pretty funny. Also, they kept clean 3 clean sheets on time as well, so can't complain on that one. And obviously, we've got to talk about that game against Peterborough, just an unbelievable comeback from them. Honestly, when they made it 2-0, I was like, they're going to fucking do this, and they did it, and obviously I'm really happy that the match did, because it was a fantastic comeback. Really was a great game of football to watch as well. And, it just goes to show that, although they did bottle the league, Wednesday do have that quality in that team which could see them through in this game against Barnsley. They are the 3rd highest goal scorers in the league and only the 2nd lowest in goals conceded. Only Bolton have conceded fewer goals than Sheffield Wednesday this season. And unlike Barnsley, Sheffield Wednesday their wins have been quite tight, mostly winning by a goal or 2. They've had steadily from 3 of Smith, Gregory and Windass having 40 goals between them, and also Barry Bannon as well, picking up 25 goals and assists as well. So Sheffield Wednesday have some serious firepower up front, and also very well organised defence, well, for the most part anyway. In terms of the league games this season, Barnsley actually have done a double over Wednesday, and apart from those 2 wins and a win back in 2020, Barnsley's record against Sheffield Wednesday hasn't been great. Actually, I have to go back to February 2009 when Barnsley got a win against Sheffield Wednesday before these couple of wins. Again, Wembley will be absolutely packed out for the 2 clubs, 2 well-supported teams. And also, again, obviously mentioned that the fact that it's a derby, so it's going to be that added sentiment on it as well. Both teams have started players, they probably will like to use the Wembley pitch, especially Sheffield Wednesday. However, I think if it did come to it, I think Barnsley probably could adapt better to being a more boring, dirty, physical team it needs to be, compared to Sheffield Wednesday. However, in terms of a prediction, I do believe it probably will go to extra time. But, to be fair, I think it's going to be pretty disappointing if Sheffield Wednesday don't get promoted after that historic win against Peterborough. And to be fair, I think because of that win, they probably are the fans' favourites to go through. And to be fair, I think they'll do it. Honestly, I think they'll probably pick up the win in extra time. I'm going to say a 2-1 win for Sheffield Wednesday there. And then finally, we do have the Championship playoff final, Coventry City up against Luton Town. No, it's not Middlesbrough versus Sunderland like everyone was expecting, maybe even hoping for. Well, according to Twitter anyway. Yeah, it's just, let's get this over with. This is going to fucking hell. Honestly, like, for a Sunderland fan, this could not have been a fucking worst playoff final that happened. Honestly, it's just two teams you don't like. You're hoping both teams fucking lose. Let's be honest. Coventry unbeaten in the last 9, keeping 5 clean sheets in their time as well. So very, very organised team in the back. Wasn't that convincing against Borough over the 2 legs, I'll be honest. You know, but I suppose in the second leg at the Riverside, did they get the job done? They're a very well organised team. They're very hard to break down, and you know, very tall and physical as well. Now, Coventry were only the 7th highest goal scorers in the league, but were 4th lowest in terms of goals conceded. The CBS Arena pitch is, I think I read it, is a similar size to the one at Wembley, so it could probably help Coventry out a little bit there. You know, in terms of the key men, Gyökeres, you know, you can't ignore the 31 goals and assists. He's got the season, absolutely fantastic season with Coventry, and it could potentially be his last game in a sky blue shirt as well. And well, obviously, unless Coventry do get promoted. Also, as well, Ben Hamer as well. No, sorry, Gus Hamer. Sorry, wrong person. 19 goals and assists as well. You know, he's definitely one to look out for. And Coventry, you know, they do have some of the best fans in the league as well. So that crowd will get a huge boost for them. I believe they've currently sold out just over 30,000 tickets already, which is an insane support from them. Now, Luton have an even better record than Coventry. Luton just losing once in the last 16 league games, keeping 9 clean sheets in that time as well. They were pretty poor against Sunderland in the first leg. You know, they took an early lead, but they just couldn't really get back in the game once Sunderland equalised. And yeah, it was just, they just couldn't adapt, you know, to the big crowd and a bigger pitch. However, in the second leg, they were absolutely outstanding. Well, again, like Coventry, they're a well-organised team, they're hard to break down, and they're very tall and physical. You know, Luton, you know, they were joined 8th highest goal scorers in the league, so there were quite a few teams who had outscored them this season. However, they are only joined 2nd lowest in goals conceded. Only Burnley have conceded fewer goals than Luton this season. Now again, the key men, Cotton Morris, 20 goals, can't really ignore that. Adam Bales also got 11 goals and assists as well, so them two are going to be causing Coventry's defence all sorts of problems, you'd imagine. Now, unlike Coventry, Luton's style of play is a little bit more anti-football, if you want to call it that. You know, it's not that very pretty to watch, but, you know, it gets results. So, you know, Luton fans aren't going to complain with that at all. Now, they might actually find the Wembley pitch pretty tough to play on. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, like, I'm going to use the first leg against Sunderland as an example. Like, you know, at the season of light, they couldn't play their style of football, you know. I mean, yeah, they were still maybe being very physical, as they usually are, but they couldn't frustrate Sunderland really in that first leg, which is probably why I wouldn't say Sunderland found it easy against Luton, but there definitely wasn't much of a challenge what we probably would have thought. And yeah, you know, if Luton are going to play on what is a bigger pitch at Wembley, could have a couple of problems there. However, Rob Edwards could change the style of play. I don't really know why he would do that though with one game left. Now, in terms of the head-to-head, both games between these two have finished as draws this season, so doesn't really be much separating the two teams in the league, but obviously this will have to be the one where they do have to get separated. Luton got a pretty good record against Coventry as of late, haven't lost to them since October 2017, back when they were in League 2, which is a pretty mental rise. Obviously, you know, it's been well documented now that obviously both teams were promoted together from League 2 only 5 years ago, so it's been a pretty good run from them too. Very similar teams as well. Style of play can be something like, you know, Coventry or probably do play better football than Luton, can also adapt to playing, you know, the rough, tough football as well. You know, both teams have pretty tight defenses, and to be fair, I think like the Barnsley-Sheffield Wednesday game, I don't think it will be a goal fest. I think it probably will finish as a 1-1 draw after extra time, and I think both goals will be scored in extra time, by the way. But I'm backing Coventry to win it on penalties, which is a massive shock. You know, penalties it's completely fucking flip. You don't know how it's going to go, but I think Coventry might edge that one. So I'm going to go 5-4 penalty win for Coventry there. And that, guys, is going to be it for my player final predictions. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Who do you think is going to win the games and all get promoted up to the other leagues? My Premier League, like reacting to my Premier League predictions will be out next week. And I am probably looking to making a couple of Sunday videos as well, you know, just to end the season off as well. Maybe a season review and a little award show as well. So it's just something a little bit fun, you know, just to end the season off. But that's going to be it from me today. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all next time.